Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Bearded Ford Tech. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you're not new here, welcome back. Somebody asked me if I could talk a little bit about wet stacking. What is wet stacking? What causes it? How do I prevent it? So I'm going to go over that with you guys right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at what wet stacking is, or let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, so if you see here, I got 3 different injectors, and I can show you on these injectors because wet stacking will foul out injectors. So wet stacking is in a diesel engine. It occurs when unburned fuel passes into the exhaust stream, basically. It'll cause a thick, dark liquid to come out of the exhaust pipe, which is why they call it a wet stack. It'll look like engine oil, but it's a little bit thicker. A lot of people do get it confused, like, oh, that's engine oil coming out of my tailpipe. That may not be the case. It may be wet stacking. So it happens when the engine is operated at light load for an extended period of time. Usually 30 to 50% of what the capacity of that engine can handle. It can cause wet stacking, or its rated performance. It prevents the engine from reaching the operating temperature, which is what fuel needs to burn. So it's not burning off, and it's just going, past or into the exhaust stream. It can actually dilute the oil too. It'll get past the piston rings. Unburned fuel, carbon particles, and moisture build up around the exhaust system components and are sent to the exhaust. So that's basically what wet stacking is. Like I said, I do have 3 injectors here. This one's normal. Let's see if I can. Got a little bit of carbon on the tip of it. This injector was bad. I had a really bad imbalance on it. And this is 3 different injectors from 3 different vehicles. Okay. This one was stuck in a bore, and that just got some carbon on it. And then this one over here actually has some wet stacking. See how nasty that looks? It looks like engine oil, but it's not. It's actually fuel and carbon deposits. It is the lubrication in the diesel fuel mixed with carbon deposits and soot, and fouls out the injectors. So when the injector fouls out, instead of spraying, in a pattern, it'll just kind of dump, if you know what I mean. So this doesn't spray straight down. It sprays outward into the cup, into the fuel bowl of the piston. When it's fouled out, it may not spray in that pattern, little like a star pattern. It may just run straight down. One side may not spray at all. It may be more on the other side. But you see how that can get confused with engine oil when that's not engine oil. If I can get this thing to focus. So, how do we prevent wet stacking? You can actually see it on my hand. That's not engine oil. And it even smells like diesel. So how do we prevent the wet stacking? How do you eliminate it? Well, you apply load to the engine and get the temperatures up, get it hot. That way it'll combust all the fuel, increasing the temperature to burn the accumulated of unburnt fuel. That's basically how we get it. You'll get some black smoke come out of the tailpipe, and that's it burning off the unburned fuel. That should only happen when it burns off that unburnt fuel. After it is burnt off, it should not be smoking anymore. If it is still smoking after you do that, the black smoke, you could have leaking injectors, you could be overfueling. That's a whole nother ball game right there. It could be the vanes on the turbo stuck open. We're talking about 6.7 Power Stroke, by the way. It could be the vanes on the turbo stuck open and it's overfueling. But that's basically how you get rid of it, man. You want to keep that engine up to operating temperature so it is efficient enough to combust the fuel that is in there, and so it doesn't wet stack. You'll actually see it on the turbo and the exhaust manifold side. Like I said, you can see the injectors right there with that one. So my advice to you is don't short trip it, get it up to operating temperature. Don't let it idle so long, because idling not only messes up the intake and puts soot accumulation into the intake, it does wet stacking as well. And you're going to have to foul out your injectors. You're going to have to go in and replace injectors. So like I said, just keep it up at operating temperature, man. Go out on the highway and romp on that thing a few times. It's not going to hurt it. It's what it's there for. It's a workhorse. So some of the symptoms, obviously you get a little bit of black smoke. The most common symptom that you'll see is it'll be like a black ooze running out of the tailpipe. You may feel a misfire because it's not burning the fuel. Fouled out injectors. Those are just some off the top of my head that I can think of. But engine may run a little bit rough. But no, just to get rid of it, go romp on it. Keep that engine up to temperature, man. That's about all you can do. So I hope that helped you learn a little bit more about what wet stacking is and what causes it, and how to not eliminate it, but keep it down, possibly eliminate it too if you don't idle it all the time. Keep the engine up to temperature. So I appreciate you asking that question. That was really cool. Got to teach you guys something about wet stacking. A lot of you guys didn't know that, and I've actually never talked about it before on the channel. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I appreciate it. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.